Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stay with me, because today we are diving into a story that mixes history, rarity, struggle, and the kind of value that turns an ordinary pocket into a treasure chest. And if you are a collector, especially one who appreciates the deeper journey behind a piece of old silver, you will want to listen closely, because the coin we are talking about today isn't just metal. It is legacy. It is identity. And it has become one of the most sought after pieces among collectors who know the power of a story. Today, we explore a coin that came from a place and time where every design, every symbol, and every decision held meaning. The 1954 South Africa 5 shillings coin. It is a coin many have heard of, but only a few truly understand. And for the men who grew up in the era when craftsmanship mattered, when silver was silver, and when a coin held weight not only in the hand but in the heart, this one speaks loudly. So settle in as we take a trip back into a world where this piece of silver came to life. Imagine South Africa in the mid-1950s, a country moving through major changes, shaping its identity, and striking coins that represented far more than money. The 5 shillings coin of that year brought together the old-world artistry of traditional minting with the symbolism of a nation trying to define itself. Minted in sterling silver, it carried the famous portrait of Jan van Riebeeck on one side, a figure tied deeply to the early European settlement of the Cape. On the reverse, the springbok antelope, leaping forward, stood as a symbol of motion, resilience, and pride. For older generations, especially men who admire the discipline, precision, and strength of history, this design has a character that today's modern coinage just doesn't match. But what sets the 1954 edition apart? What gives it the kind of mystique that still grips collectors today? The answer begins with rarity and ends with story. Unlike modern mass-produced coins, these were struck in limited numbers, handled with care, and built from real silver that still shines with a kind of glow most modern coins can't achieve. Many coins were circulated, many were lost, and many were melted over the years. But the few that survived in high condition are now treated almost like relics. When a collector holds one, they don't just feel weight. They feel history pressing gently into their palm. For the men between the ages of 55 and 65, this coin brings back memories of a time when things were built to last, when life was measured not in digital clicks, but in craftsmanship. It reminds them of days when their fathers or grandfathers might have carried real silver coins in thick leather wallets, when conversations about money always came with the smell of old wood and metal polish. This coin taps into that nostalgia with precision. It carries a kind of masculine energy, the tough and resilient kind that comes from surviving generations of handling, travel, and change. Beyond its aesthetics and memory, this coin also captures an economic story. Silver was not just decoration. It was value, the kind of value you could hold and recognize instantly. And because the South Africa 5 shillings coin from 1954 was built with real sterling silver, it still reflects wealth in a very physical way. Collectors who know metals understand that real silver has a voice when it moves. It rings. And that ring has become a sound of authenticity many people trust more than paper. Over the decades, collectors who chased down this coin were not just buying silver. They were buying a slice of mid-century life. They were buying an object connected to a historical figure, a national symbol, and a moment where design and meaning worked together. They were buying a conversation piece, something you could hold up in front of your grandchildren and say, "This is how money once looked. This is what craftsmanship used to be. And this is a piece of history that survived the test of time." Another reason this coin inspires so much interest is the story of its preservation. While many coins struck in the same period carried marks, scratches, and wear from years of circulation, the few surviving in pristine condition are unbelievably rare. These coins often lived quiet lives in drawers, safes, or old wooden boxes, protected unknowingly by people who simply forgot about them. Years later, when rediscovered, their shine remained. Their edges stayed sharp. their details still crisp under magnification. And collectors know that when it comes to vintage silver, condition can multiply value in ways that are almost unbelievable. Then there's the emotional side. When you hold a coin minted in 1954, you hold something older than many of the collectors themselves. It survived wars, economic shifts, political changes, and generations of hands. It has endured in silence, carrying with it a story that cannot be recreated today. For men who appreciate the past, especially those who lived through times when sentimental objects were passed down with pride, this coin represents more than history. It represents continuity, something that endured while everything else changed. And collectors today compete fiercely for the best examples of this coin. And the competition grows because every year that passes, fewer high-quality pieces remain. The best ones are already locked away in private collections, leaving new collectors searching harder, paying more, and dreaming bigger. But the true giants among them, the collectors who chase perfection and rarity, go after the upper tier. Those are the coins with flawless surfaces, mirror-like strikes, and overwhelming charm. These coins are the ones that drive auction rooms into silence and draw eyes from around the world. And that brings us to the breathtaking part of this story, the value. While most ordinary examples sell for modest amounts, the finest known examples, the rarest of the rare, those preserved with unbelievable care, have reached valuations that defy expectations. And for the perfect specimen, the kind of coin collectors call once in a lifetime, the current estimated top value stands at an astonishing $8 million.